Can I get my escrow deposit back if I decide to pull out of contract? Let's talk about that for a hot minute. And I want to just put yourself in a seller's shoes for a minute. So you are the buyer, you put in this offer, you went under contract, they accepted your offer, and now you have a change of heart, a change of mind, change of life plans, and you want to pull out of that contract. So first of all, it's going to depend on what contract you're in, if you're in a standard or as is, and then any kind of stipulations that you changed in those contracts. That's going to be very, very important. But let's just say it's a typical standard contract, which is usually what we use here in the Villages, Florida, and surrounding areas, Central Florida here. You cannot get your escrow deposit back. So let's just say you go to an open house, you fall in love with the house, you put in a contract, the seller accepts it, and now you are under contract, and you have typically, unless you state otherwise, 3 days to get your escrow deposit in. And as soon as you put that escrow deposit in, you have met the stipulations of your contract. You are good. You are under contract. Now, you all of a sudden you have a change of heart. You wake up the next morning and you say, what was I thinking? I do not want to buy this house. Well, it's kind of too bad, so sad. And I know I hate to say that, because I have fought for buyers on the other end of this, but I want to give you the perspective of the seller. So the seller has now they've taken their listing off market. They did a lot of preparation. Maybe you went under contract on their very first open house or their very first week on market. That first couple of weeks on market, that's the most precious time. And now you pulled them off. So not only did you lessen the chance of other buyers coming in, but now they look like they have damaged goods, right? I know that that's hard to say, but there are people that look through listings and they say, oh, this was off market, it was pending, and then it went back on market. What's wrong with it, right? So now they have to overcome those objections that other future potential sellers or buyers are going to throw at them. So just keep that in mind, that they do have the right, and that's why, because it's going to lessen their chance of getting top dollar, getting the value that they really, hopefully should be getting. If they listed appropriately, they have the biggest shot at getting the most of their market value in those first couple weeks on market. So it usually, I always tell my clients 2.5% to 3% is a good healthy escrow deposit. So make sure that you are really aware of your contract, really set on whether or not this is the right home for you. There's lots of ins and outs and things that you need to think about and consider, like the taxes, the location, lots of different things. But just make sure it's the right home for you. Don't feel pressure to go under contract, and just know that if you do get under contract, you get your offer accepted, that escrow deposit, that's going to be held by the title company, and that goes towards the deal, that goes towards the transaction, and the title company is going to look at the contract. So what does your contract say? So in, again, a standard contract, it's going to say that the seller does have the right to keep it, or however they agreed with their brokerage, they're going to be able to keep it, and not you as the buyer. Now, unless you're in an as-is contract, that's a whole other world, and you can literally, during your inspection period, it's probably 15 days unless you changed it, you can pull out because you don't like the way that the wind blows. Hopefully that's not why, but you literally can pull out of that contract at any time in your inspection period, and your escrow deposit is safe. I had a buyer last year. We put down a $50,000 deposit, but we were in it as is, and they just had a change of heart. They decided not to buy that property, and they got their full $50,000 back. But it's very different. Again, just know what contract you're in. If you're in a standard contract, that is not the case, and that seller does have the right to keep it. So I hope that helps. If it might be different. Maybe you are from New York or Connecticut or another state, and you're used to different contracts in different ways. So definitely make sure that you sit down, go through your contract in detail, understand it, And if you have any questions, I would love to help. I'll put my information in the description here so you can text or email me. Give me a call. I'd love to help you with any of your real estate questions, especially if you're in the Villages, Florida. Thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day, and I'm sure we'll talk soon.